So much has happened in the last day or so with Apex Legends esports roster news coming to a head. Roster lock obviously yesterday, so many teams have decided to go ahead and take this time to announce their roster changes. Some of them their departures, some of them have not announced their new rosters, but they did announce their old rosters are no longer going to be in effect, or some of these rosters, I guess, officially were let go from their organizations as well. Now, some of these are kind of running into some weird issues because it looked like a roster was forming, then it basically had a new opportunity arise, and so that roster has now been broken apart already. Crazy stuff going on. Sorry for the lack of activity. Unfortunately, yesterday on the way home from work, I ran over a piece of like a angle iron bar, and I popped both my brand new tires. So $400 down the drain. Everything that you do here on the channel seriously helps a lot. Like and subscribe. At least I didn't flip the car. I'll take the pop tires instead of dying. All right, here we go. First off, let's talk about Blinkster's team. We thought Blinkster was going to be playing with Deeds. That just didn't happen any longer. Unfortunately, he said he was still looking for a team. He's getting trolled really bad. That was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And then Bleacher comes out to announce his roster. It is now Fun FPS himself and Jelly. Very, very, very good roster. And we've been talking about Jelly for a while now. Up and coming, 17-year-old, absolute beast at the game. So a good roster to stay tuned with. Now, what happened with Deeds? Obviously, stay tuned later on in the video. We'll talk about that. Shubi also sticking it out with the Cloud9 roster. They've been doing pretty good recently. Obviously, last night in scrims, also a first place. Also noticed that Furia was over here playing with Noct, and that's because Vaxlon is no longer on the Furia roster as he has officially been moved as well. Where is he going? Stay tuned. Obviously, we will talk about it. Yanya posted that he was signing a contract the other day. Where is Yanya going? Well, all eyes are pointing towards NRG. Aurora also said, welcome to NRG. And it seems like with the NRG post, they specifically bid farewell to Fun FPS, Nocturnal, Hodsick as they embark on the next stage of their Apex journey. And basically, NRG did not necessarily, they did not necessarily like make it seem like they were out. Just we don't know what they're going to do, I guess, exactly. So obviously, time will tell. After all of this happened, you did get, that Fun FPS roster going to play with Blinkster. And then we find out what happened with Deeds and Vaxlon. Reps is now going to be teaming with Vax and Deeds for the upcoming ALGS Year 5. This one is a crazy one because these guys obviously are all well respected in their own way. Vax has been looked at as one of the better MK players for a very long time. He's obviously had a lot of success with the Furia roster. Reps, I mean, is about as OG as they could possibly come, and probably one of the fan favorites still around today, being that after Hal left TSM, after Hal left his longtime duo, everybody kind of got behind Reps because they didn't want Hal being with the villain in Zero. And then Deeds, obviously, ever since the Nick Merckx tripod days, this guy has been up and up and up, and he's becoming more well known because of how talented he really is. I think that this roster could be very well. Although I will say, I think a lot of people kind of deemed Vax and Reps almost too similar of players. And so, but metas have changed, and, that's been years ago. I think you could very well make that argument, many months back. But things are always changing. People are always adapting and picking up new legends. So we'll see, obviously, how this roster pans out. But I definitely think they're going to have the fan base behind them. And speaking of the fan base, let's talk about some pretty popular names here. Designful over here on 100 Thieves also getting released here, saying it's been a ride. Thank you for everything, Design. And then basically that was it. We kind of knew that was going to happen. Design's been doing his own thing, and his new roster hasn't looked too shabby. And then Timmy also, thank you 100 Thieves for the great ride. Got to meet and work alongside some incredible people. Super grateful to have the opportunity to represent an amazing org, and I'm excited for what's coming next. This is coming from 100 Thieves, saying today we say goodbye to Timmy, not only as a competitor, but as a content creator as well. So that pretty much confirms that 100 Thieves will in fact be Jin Burton, Verholst, and Phony, it seems. Obviously, they haven't announced, not every roster has announced everything, but we kind of know what was going to happen here. Timmy actually went on a YouTube video saying why his team was not compatible before. Here's what he had to say. Roll it.
Oh, IGL ARC. Yeah, I'm sure you guys want to know about that. So yeah, obviously I was IGLing for the 100 Thieves, and things didn't work out there, but it's all good. We are going to be IGLing still. So the next team I am I'm playing with is I'm still IGLing. You know, a lot of people were kind of gonna ask like, why you continue, you know, IGLing and stuff like that. I think the main things to talk about for sure about that is definitely like, you know, I believe that one, I can do it. I can like IGL and I can be a good IGL. Obviously, you know, there are like any other IGL, like I make mistakes, I make bad plays, make bad calls, and you know, and I think people kind of dwell on the mistakes a little too hard. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think I IGL pretty decent all through like the scrims coming up into the LAN, and obviously at LAN I still in the group stages still IGL not too bad. I mean, we got to winners, and then obviously in the winners bracket, you know, we had some mistakes, and not everything also like, yeah, you know, I'm sure you guys can watch the POVs, and I'm sure the POVs are there, but yeah, you know, I made some bad calls, you know, I made some good calls, and it just like as a team we collectively didn't follow through the calls. We got counter called, you know, I counter called, I didn't listen to Jen's calls, you know, there's a lot of things here and there. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I think that's just like, we all just needed to go with one decision and just really just, you know, work together. But that's just like the problem is that, you know, when you have too many voices, too many things, too many people that believe in, you know, different things, it just gets a lot like harder, and we just weren't compatible as a team.
So he did obviously confirm that he'd be competing in ALGS Year 5, and he confirmed in the video that you saw that he will be IGLing still. So, you know, stay tuned, obviously, for that official announcement. More official announcements as well. Team Huss is now official with Duplex, Gent, and Skittle Cakes. We all saw this coming. They've been playing together for quite some time. And it looks like currently that over in the EMEA scene, Synetic and Tyler FPS and Zane are actually playing together right now. Interesting team roster lineup, whatever you want to call it. And we'll see, obviously, how they... I think Tyler has been one of the better players and underrated players for a while. Did very, very good in his short time in year 4. I'm surprised that he didn't get picked up as like a permanent starter for a longer period of time. But I think his stock is doing pretty well. We'll see how Tyler obviously continues to perform in the upcoming year. Now we've got to talk about some other news. Big stuff going on in the APAC South region. PSQ winners number 2. This is Nick Shift. They have now been banned on Battlefy. This has been a pretty big problem over the last couple of years. We talked about APAC last year having many people coming under fire about teaming, about cheating, getting banned, some in Pro League, former Pro League. This has been a non-stop problem, and it seems like it will happen again. Nick Shift, like I said, already banned and suspended here. Their spot won't go to second place either. Team OMC will be added in an extra slot to the teams going to Pro League and the ALGS Open via total points. Not many are shocked on this one. Now, a lot of people are asking, why were they banned? In which Brad, which is an ALGS caster, said, I'm no idea. Rumor is account sharing / ban evading, potentially cheating, kind of doesn't matter. Also, speaking of cheating or banning and all this stuff, you guys probably remember many months back, probably a year ago or so at this point, there was a North American player that many of you know and has continuously gotten better and better and better. Now, this guy came under immense fire inside of the Challenger Circuit scene, PSQ scene, LCQ scene, and basically they all thought this guy was cheating 100%. Specifically, a very prominent Pro League player, Sweet Dreams, who said that this guy was undoubtedly cheating, and that is none other than the new Pro League applicant or new Pro League member, and that is Mr. Panic himself. So this is team locked in. If you guys haven't seen this already, PSQ qualifier number 2 came to a head, and one of the North American teams looking forward to punching their spot was Panic Apex. This is the brother to Mr. Delroar, very well-known players inside of the Challenger Circuit scene. A lot of drama from these two in the past just because of the whole cheating stuff, and everybody thought this guy's undoubtedly cheating, but he's proven himself over time. He never got banned. He had people look into his account and even had big pro player vouchers saying, hey, look, if he's still around at this point and he didn't get banned, then he probably wasn't cheating. And the guy's still around and he's still making Pro League. So what a crazy performance from him. This has been a long time. This guy's probably never missed a single tournament. I see him in the finals all the time. So he's been grinding, he's made it, and he's now there with some very popular players, might I add. Those two popular players are none other than Hambino and Rambo. Like, I feel like so obviously you've got Team Penis's head captain, which was Hambino, and then you've got Rambo, which is a long-time vet inside of the scene. And a lot of people have been criticizing Rambo, right? Because he is a little bit different of a controller player. He's a little bit further behind on sensitivity stuff. He plays a little bit slower, a little bit more methodical, but it's obviously seemed to have worked for him because he's still around. He's still somewhat relevant. He's still doing good. He's now qualifying for Pro League. So Rambo is on the up and up, and so is Hambino, and so is Panic. They're all going up, but Panic, oh my gosh. I mean, just look at this. 26 kills. I mean, you can tell who the fragger is on this team, and it's very obvious who the IGL is on this team. So it'll be interesting to see these guys, some back in Pro League. Panic, obviously, as a newer guy coming up to make his statement. Interested to see what your thoughts are down in the comment section below about all the roster changes, roster updates. How are you feeling about some of these teams? Specifically, what do you think of the new Deeds, Vaxlon, and Reps team? I think a lot of people are probably most hopeful for this roster. This is the one that the fan base probably wants to get behind a good bit right now. I think the 100 Thieves roster is probably going to be the biggest roster announcement out of all of these. We all know what it is. We know what's coming, but I think as far as winning championships, they are probably the team right now to consider. So the 100 Thieves one's obviously going to be big. A lot of announcements still, need to be made final. Interested to see what your thoughts are on all of these down in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date with everything going inside of the world of Apex Legends esports news. Until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.